There's a lot of problems at Melbourne Footy Club.
This has been a disastrous 12 months.
The footy club's had a season from hell. There's a scenario that could unfold in round coming up where they finish the round in second last position.
Melbourne have been pathetic.
They're getting beaten at the contest, on the spread. Their forward line structure is a mess.
It's been unbelievable. Fourth to 17th on the ladder.
An extraordinary set of numbers. 72 entries the D's had today for 6 goals.
They're unrecognisable, Gary, from a brand point of view. We don't know what their brand is anymore. So the difficulty, if you're Simon Goodwin, is where do you start?
Because it's just been a horrendous year at Melbourne.
I've thought about it long and hard, and the only conclusion I'd come to is that last year is an aberration. If we keep saying it's going to turn, it's going to turn, it's going to turn, we might be denying ourselves the reality, and that is they're not that good.
The Melbourne Football Club has endured 55 years of pain, and 2019 was no exception. Today, just 2 days after the AFL Grand Final, the players return to the club for the first time to hear from Coach Simon Goodwin about the off-season ahead.
It's fair to say, boys, by the end of last year, we were in hell. But right now, with that, we're going to get given a golden ticket in a whole range of different areas. When I talk about a golden ticket, I'm talking about advantages in the competition. The first advantage you get is this time right now. When we get back, you'll be really clear on who we are, how we're going to play, and how we're going to go about it. And then we're going to build it over the summer, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. All right, we're going to have a lot of fun. Yep, it's going to be loads of hard work, but we're going to enjoy it.
In a bid to overhaul the fitness program for 2020, Melbourne has recruited highly credentialed performance manager Darren Burgess from the Premier League.
So, what's going to happen when we come back is we're getting straight into footy. It'll be incumbent on you guys to get the next 5 weeks right, because we'll know if you haven't. My job and the team's job that we've put around you is to make sure that the coaches get you playing the game style from day one. So in a 3-minute running session, run absolutely flat out. So at the end of the 3 minutes, you are you're going to have a 2-minute recovery, and then you're going to go again. So the program up here is designed to morph into the pre-season program so that round one, you know that the bloke standing next to you hasn't done the work that you've done. And I guarantee you the program that we put together will deliver that for you.
In the early stages of the off-season, the boys are beginning to put their programs to the test.
I reckon we met Burjo night before, morning of the best and fairest, and went through the program, and there's a few guys that sort of read it and thought, some of these sessions would be pretty tough, but I think once we got right into it, he really knew what he was setting us up for, and hung around here and made sure I got the work in and spent some time just getting my body right.
3 minutes.
We haven't really put a foot wrong, and we're taking it sort of day by day, week by week at the moment. That's all we can do. Not really trying to look too far ahead or look too far behind, and I think we'll be in a pretty good position come round one.
The first couple of sessions back always the hardest, getting that base fitness back, but Darren Burgess put together some pretty nice programs, so he's got the boys working hard early, which is good. Let's go, last one, let's finish strong. It's really important to try and do sessions with other boys. Not only does it help you push yourself, but also building relationships, doing the work together creates a bond. So yeah, building some relationships early on hard work.
2, 1, and we're away. Push. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, boys. 5 seconds, Maxi. Hey. Oh yeah! I'm about to give you good news, but you still got 40 to go. Here we go. Yes, come on. Down, 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 down. That's it. Go down, go down, go down. Come on. 4. One more, let's go. Push good, push good. 5, and jump. Go, Jim. Come on, let's go, Sweeney. Up. 3, 2, 1.
Ahead of his 15th pre-season in the red and blue, Nathan Jones informed his teammates he'd be stepping aside as captain, a decision he didn't make lightly.
I'd been sort of dwelling on that decision for a while. If we went right back, I was like, yeah, there was contemplation of whether I should continue to play, and you know, was my passion still there? I think physically I always felt like I was capable, but I think last year really broke me down mentally. And you know, come the end of the season, I just had a lot to think about.
Anything else, Chunk, you want to say?
Yep. I've been fortunate enough, humbled, very grateful to be captain of this footy club for the last 6 years, and I guess at the end of this year I reflected pretty strongly on a whole range of things, but obviously my number one priority was to make the best decision for the footy club and the best decision for this playing group. So I've decided I'm going to step away from that role as captain. Off the back of that, it's going to require guys to step up and lead. And fuck the narrative that's out there that we don't have leaders in this room, because we can do. But you've got to have the balls and courage to step up and help Jack, help me, help Max, help Nev and the other guys that have been driving this club for a long time, because if we're going to make change, I think that's what's going to take. Because I don't want to be back where we were last year. I shared with you at the end of the season how much last season broke me, and all I want to do is enjoy playing footy again. I love you boys, I love this club, and I just want us to win. I want success here. So.
Yeah, I was obviously nervous telling the group, or you know, there was a whole range of emotions. You know, I've been very honoured and privileged to, you know, I guess hold that position for a long time now. And but for me, it was almost like I guess a rebirth, like being able to shed some of the weight. And I reckon, you know, when I was sort of explaining that to the players, I could almost feel some of the emotion coming out. I feel like in the end it had become a burden for me, and I'd taken on not only the disappointment of 2019, but you know, the disappointment of a decade.
Few, if any, felt the pain of 2019 like Simon Goodwin. But the senior coach can finally put the year from hell behind him as he heads into Amy Park to get the pre-season underway.
You know, we got a lot wrong, and you know, we've spoken about that. You know, we got our whole summer wrong, and we lacked cohesion in the way we played. So I'll put that to bed, but also use it as a learning experience and make sure that we get this season right. You know, we've got a lot of work to do, and you know, it starts today.
I wanted to go back to 2019. Remember that there? All the things pretty much that we don't want to be. It was one of the great reminders of what's important to us in footy. So how did you feel at that point, Lance?
Feeling pretty embarrassed and you know, ashamed at that point. You know, going to the Brownlow end of the season. I've never felt like I wanted to hide so much in my life.
So that's the last thing we'll speak about 2019. Because I know you're hurting, and I know it's sitting right in your guts. That's going to fuel our summer.
We're going to attack this weekend and get the season absolutely started away. Let's get out.
After a failed pre-season 12 months prior, all eyes now turn to Darren Burgess to see if the performance manager can transform his new side.
You all know what's going on this afternoon. So today, we're going to start off with a warm-up. We're going to do the sub-max yo-yo. What we're trying to do is see how quickly your heart rate comes from a work rate to nothing. We'll explain as we go how that relates to your footy. Okay, so that's the first thing we'll do. We're going to jog over to the 10. Okay, 3K time trial. We're going to start at the bottom of Anderson Street and go around the other way, and we'll finish somewhere near the top of Anderson Street. Okay? Any questions? Beautiful. Okay, we're good to go.
Burgess is wasting no time in putting the playing group to the test, as the club heads over to the Tan to complete its 3-kilometre time trial, a challenge the boys have never encountered. As temperatures continue to rise, the trek begins on Alexandra Avenue, with a steady incline the whole way round. Alex Neil-Bullen was the first to cross the finish line.
9. Yeah! Come and give me your times. Good, Clary. Good, thanks. Let's go, boys, on your feet. Let's walk back. It's easy walk to start off with. Let's go.
Have they come back in the shape that you were wanting them to?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, having a year like we had last year, that kind of motivates the players to come back in a better shape, and they've done that really well. I've had plenty of communication with the boys over the break, and now they've really nailed it.
Boys, just bring it in. What can we control? We can control our preparation. What can't we control? So what are the things we can't control today? Yes, the heat. Love the heat. Love it, okay? The heat is way better than anything else. Any running session, the heat will make you adapt quicker. Kicking first, then the handball games. Away we go.
I sort of have an 80-20 approach, 80% footy, 20% running, and if the boys get the sort of the distances and what we want out of the footy session, then they won't do any running.
Which way is Pink going? Play! Touch! Turnover! White ball! Drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Spread!
The handball sort of multi-directional game is it's two things really. It's fitness clearly because they're working really hard, and it's also decision making. You've got to get that combination of really hard work so the boys know that they're being pushed to their limits, and also when to pull back because you certainly don't want to lose anybody in pre-season because you're a bit over-enthusiastic. So it is a balance. It'll be hard work for sure, but we're certainly balancing that with appropriate recovery and things like that.
While the majority of the playing group is enjoying the grind, one injury-riddled demon is left watching on the sidelines. Aaron Vandenberg has managed just 7 games in the past 3 years, as his ongoing foot injury leaves some major doubt around his playing future.
I was training quite well in January last year, and then I started to get some hiccups. Just wasn't running right, wasn't turning right. It's like anything, your mind goes racing to worst possible scenario, and you start thinking about everything you've been through, and is it going to be really bad? Am I going to be able to play again? All those thoughts do race through your mind, and sadly it did equate to missing the entire season again.
Any pain with that?
No, all good.
Good. Vanders he's certainly had some ups and downs over the time, but he's a pretty strong-willed, determined character. So he's coped with it as good as anyone. He's never complained, he's never whinged, he's just got on with it. Yeah.
Hello, mate.
You right?
I'm good.
Is he dying? He's dying?
This is his last day, last session.
It's been real.
Yes.
All the best.
It's always got to be one, doesn't there?
There's still a risk that he's got a fair bit of water to go under the bridge before he gets back onto the park and plays an AFL game. So he's still got a fair bit of work to do, a fair bit of training to get through, but signs are at this stage that he's in a relatively good spot. So.
You feel alright? Yeah, it's not too bad. Nah, not at all. Thanks, Coach.
I don't think we've ever been more aware of what I can and can't do and what is going to help me sustain training for long periods of time. I'm on a very monitored schedule. You know, we've probably got a pretty good understanding of where I'm at, and I think that, you know, given if we're careful, we're smart, and we monitor my loads well, and, you know, and I'm smart myself in the way I train and I prepare, then, you know, sky's the limit.
With a spot on the rookie list still up for grabs, the Melbourne Recruiters have turned their attention to a former number 2 draft pick. Harley Bennell was recently delisted by the Dockers, and after playing just 2 games in the past 4 years, his troublesome calf makes him a risky proposition.
She looks good. Thanks for coming over.
No, thank you for having me.
I'm going to ask you some hard questions, which you've probably been asked before, but we have to as a club, because otherwise we're not doing our job. Cool with that?
Yep.
Good. How do you feel if we said if you're training with us, no drinking?
Fine.
No issue?
Fine.
Good.
My heart and hand on that.
Yep.
Do you watch much footy when you're on the sideline?
I mean, after the grand final, I had to leave it like before the sideline. We watched that at my brother's house. I went back home just seeing Josh Caddy, Dion Preston, Tom Lynch, I actually went home and started tearing up. Because they're in grand finals, they're playing in grand finals, and I'm injured, no contract, nothing.
So from my end, we're sitting here today, I don't really care about what's happened in the past. What I need to know is that you're going to try and do everything you can so it doesn't happen in the future. And you know, people make mistakes all the time. And they get to a point in life where they say, I'm going to make some genuine change and I'm going to try and make a career out of something. I guess that's why we're sitting here today. Because if you walk into our environment, you'll get all the support, you'll get all the love, you get all the environment that'll help make you thrive, that you've got to walk with us. You know what I mean? That's, as long as you're honest with us and that, I think we'll sit here now that there's lots of others make mistakes. That's what you do about them moving forward.
In the early hours of Saturday morning, Melbourne takes to the Shrine for their weekly hill sprints, a new addition to their schedule ahead of season 2020.
Morning.
What?
Circle, have a stretch, take a seat. I've been doing this for 20 odd years and people have been saying it, but I just don't want you to show that you okay? As soon as you get up the stairs, walk back down, keep moving, get around somebody. Don't do this because you'll do it in a game, okay? Secondly, the volume for this week is about 36, 37k, which is a good week. I'll show you on Monday a little chat that I'll give to you. You guys didn't get above that all of last pre-season. The whole pre-season you didn't get above that for whatever reason. Okay, and we're already getting above it in November. The downside of that is that next week is going to be about 20% harder than this week. Next week is probably our second hardest week of the whole pre-season. Right, so you need to really embrace it and understand what's coming. After that, I promise you it'll be a down week. I promise you it's a down week. Okay, I've worded up all the coaches. I promise you it's a down week. I'm happy to show you the data.
do
But
another
be
set.
happy with everything that you've done. It's been outstanding. But understand that next week it's going to be a hard one. You're going to be a bit sore, a bit tired. But prepare this weekend because next week everything goes up. Every day goes up about 20%. Really well done. Really well done. It's been outstanding. Enjoy the weekend. Well done. Oh, yeah.
It's fact.
Hey, Charlie, call me back.
Ali.
Morning, mate. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, mate. Sorry, Mr. Cole.
You're right, mate. You're right. I've got Josh with me.
All right, mate.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks for coming out last week. We've done all the medicals and Aziz had a look at all that and Virgil as well, and we'd love to invite you to come and train with us in December. If you'd be happy to do that.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate this, guys.
No, mate, we loved chatting to you the other day, and you know the passion you've got, the resilience you've already shown to have a crack at it. It's been amazing, and yeah, we know there's going to be a few hurdles still in front of us, but we're happy to do it together, mate, and we'd love to see you out there playing again.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Looking forward to it. All we ask you is come with the attitude you've already shown, mate, and we'll see how it all goes.
Thanks, boys. I really appreciate it.
No worries. See ya.
Just days before his first session with the club, Harley Bennell heads to the driving range with former teammate Stephen May, who's helping him settle into Melbourne.
That's coming out of the guts. Look at that, maybe get that. That's when you know you're doing well. oh!
Where'd that go?
I don't know, but it went a long way. Oh, I gotta hit this target for you. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I knew off the stick that was hitting bullseye.
Yeah, just wrap the opportunity that Melbourne have given me to train on. But yeah, I can't wait to get in and get stuck into it.
He's just what we need. I didn't know how keen the club would be. Harley had a few offers from other clubs as well, but he just kept texting me, I just want to come to the D's, and I told that to the powers that be, and I think that was, you know, hearing those words that he wants to come to us. This is just the beginning of
Chapter 3.
Yeah, Chapter 3.
A month prior to the national draft, the Melbourne recruiters gather in Rye to assess the best young prospects for 2019. The Demons currently hold picks 3 and 8, putting them in a strong position with a talented pool to select from.
So at the moment we've got Jackson at 2, Luke Jackson. He's a strong lad, he's a big strong athlete, rates through the roof at team first and competitiveness in all his psych testing. He's played majority of his footy in the ruck, but he has played a fair bit of footy forward later in the year, and his improvement has been dramatic even over the last 6-month period. So I'll be really open-minded on what player he can become. Do you know what I mean?
This bloke's got the best running patterns I've seen in a long time for a young ruckman.
Yeah,
so
okay.
he will spread, he'll tap, block, and then beat on a wide spread ball. He'll beat the midfielders to the next possession winning opportunity, and he's done it consistently, and it's smart.
So obviously we've got Tom Green there. Now the reason we've had him at 2 at times is because his leadership and character's through the roof.
He's a stoppage freak, this bloke.
Right.
He just gets his hands on it. He's smart, he's highly intelligent, driven kid that's going to get the best out of himself. But so is Jackson and those blokes. They're really driven.
So he's got to be a gun, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we're hoping, I don't know how much hope, we're hoping the other bloke's a gun forward until he becomes a ruckman.
There's an element of projection in every player we'll talk about today.
Yep.
And there's flaws in their game that doesn't hold up at AFL level, even though they're highly touted. And that's why we might drop some players back a bit. But I don't have any doubts with him. Do we need another inside mid, or do we need someone who can go forward? Could be the next best ruckman in the next 10 years. Should be.
Who do you think would share those two?
I would take Jackson. Yeah, I'm a little bit affected by, in a positive way, what the club's already done. We already win clearance. We already win contested footy.
So you've got two small forwards in this draft, Pickett and Waitman, who are, as 18-year-olds, as good as small forwards I've seen since, say, Cyril and Elliott coming through. So they don't come through every year. So that's a discussion point, because we're saying we don't have a high-level one on our list.
I think the impact they have on a game has been underestimated for a long time.
Yeah.
Just because of numbers. And I do think we really need one. I think everyone knows that, don't they?
Greatest need, yeah. Well, just the way he crumbs and holds his position, his impact on the game, his aggression, his speed, agility. It's quite unique, really.
It's classic.
And he gets That's just awesome. Imagine showing it to the players, this is why we recruited him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's just fantastic.
With pick 3, the Melbourne Football Club has selected Luke Jackson from East Fremantle. With pick 12, Melbourne Football Club has selected Keziah Kropanyeri Pickett from the Eagles.
With pick 32, Melbourne have selected Trent Rivers from East Fremantle.
Melbourne has now landed 6 players this off-season, recruiting Adam Tomlinson, Ed Langdon and Mitch Brown on top of its draftees. With a strong emphasis on building relationships, Simon Goodwin is taking his new players to Rye to help them settle into the club.
Not the leggy! Not the leggy! Oh! He's changed it up. I was talking to Goody! No, it's good. I was talking to Goody!
Probably Max and Nev were here before, but before the period of 2013, probably the worst performing club in the history of the game. For 3 years we won 7 games. That's probably where we were at our rock bottom. And then basically that's been what we want to try and create, the next great Melbourne team. Now that's not one premiership, that's a team that's successful over a long period of time. Just consistently playing finals, consistently challenging and winning flags along the way. Alright, so that's our aim for us as a footy club. There's one thing, especially for very draft boys, there's one thing that you come out of your first year with, just create the best habits you can. And Ego will talk to you a lot about that. How you train, how you lift, how you eat. Don't wait 4 years. Get it done straight away. The players that get it right, they play pretty quickly. Nothing can be achieved without being a hard-working person. Gordon, you flapped around in the VFL for how long?
Too long, 6 years.
And then the penny dropped. Worked his ass off, got his diet sorted, never trained hard.
There's plenty of examples of guys who came straight in and made an impact. Charlie Spargo was always seen as undersized and someone who was going to take time, but the guy played at round 6 and held his spot in the team in the 2008 and played both finals for us in his first year.
miles and 208 centimetres, there's no way I would have stayed on the list. It took me 6 years to sort of work out what the real habits of an AFL footballer was. And yeah, it doesn't matter what size you are or how young you are or how much footy you've played, so anyone can play.
Just 2 weeks after joining the club, Melbourne's newest recruits are about to be put to the ultimate test. The entire playing group is told to meet at Port Melbourne, but are unaware of what their last session prior to the Christmas break will entail.
Up nice and early, I think we got in around, it would have been about 8 AM. Everyone's real nervous going in. The element of the unknown was certainly a factor. The mindset's probably the best place to start because something's in store, we're pretty aware of that, but no one's really exactly sure what it is. We've heard a few different things.
You blokes don't know yet what you're capable of, at all. Okay, and today is going to give you a little bit of a snapshot of what you're actually capable of. There's going to be moments, probably in about an hour and a half's time, where you're thinking, what the f are we doing this for? Why are we doing this? Getting out of your head thinking this is all that kind of stuff. Every part of your life is structured to within. You've got to be at this point at 8, you've got to be at this point at 8:30, you've got to get your massage here, you've got to get this done there, you've got an appointment here. And then on the weekend, everything is unpredictable. Your job is unpredictable. That's why we haven't told you what's going on. I'm still not going to tell you exactly what's going on, okay? Because you have to embrace what's coming at you and just do it. And at the end of today, I promise you, you'll have done something pretty good with your mates. You'll enjoy it and you'll know just a little bit of what you're capable of. Line up on the blue. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So we're alternating ovals basically between hundreds and 1Ks, and I think by the end of it, yeah, Berjo was right, we were pretty stuffed. I think most of the team would have preferred just pumping out 100 hundreds than having to go across to the other oval and do the Ks. They were hard.
Got another one! Listen up here, bring it in! Mindset, help the bloke next to you! You ready? Keep it cheap, things together.
So after we finished the running, had a bit of a snack and got told to go to the beach for a bit of recovery, but obviously we were pretty clued on to the fact that it probably wasn't over the session and maybe there was a little bit of something else for us there, so got to the beach and got in the water for recovery, and our tackling coach John Donahue popped up and he's an absolute mentalist, so we knew something was happening.
So this sort of stuff is for you blokes to step up, keep the body language solid, get around your mates, work hard, do what you need to do to get the job done.
That's better, kid. Come on, come on.
I think he's like a bit of a maniac in some respects, like he just like thinks up different ways to make us feel terrible. His sessions are brutal enough without having done 10Ks of running.
Hands first, all the way around the coach. There might be a bottleneck. One caveat, your ass never touches the ground.
I don't know how he comes up with that stuff, to be honest. Like, what? Who thinks of that? Yeah, it was brutal.
Hold it aside, you're right, you're right. Hold it out. Get that! we got a cramper. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good boy, Wayne. What got him through? Fair chance. He's back there. You blokes aren't there for him. And gives up. That be true, Cos, you think?
Don't leave in.
Yep, good chat. Hey, but that's what you need. You blokes need to get each other through when times get tough. You don't leave a man down, you with him, you talk to him, you get him across and do together. Okay, so that's really good from you blokes. Really good. All right? Go in the water, head under, run back out. Quick, go! Head under, real quick.
Come on. Get there. Yes, come on. Talk time. Let's go. Talk time. Where's everyone turning? Keep going. Switch. There we go.
We don't stop. No matter what, we don't stop.
Time. Stand up.
Yeah, boys.
Oh, let's go in the water.
Good morning everyone, this is now final boarding call for all our guests travelling to Regional on flight 1035. Boarding will close shortly through gate 7.
3 weeks out from the first practice match of the year, Melbourne sets off to Maroochydore for its annual pre-season camp.
Last season wasn't the one everyone wanted or kind of expected.
Yeah, we've reset. We had a big period up until Christmas. It took a couple of weeks off to refresh, get ready. We're energised, we're ready to go. So we've got a week up here, a couple of weeks to go, and then games.
So the boys have started with their first session today, which has been a solid session, but they've really struggled with the heat. They will acclimatise. We're really happy with what we've got out of the pre-Christmas training load. So that just means that we can get the full ground 18v18 drills that we want to get out and get them ready to go round one. We've been pretty blessed with the 3 guys that have come in. They're really durable guys. We have taken a little bit of the training load away from them, but they're coping with it really, really well, and they're certainly fitting in culturally with the group, so we're really happy with what we've got there.
Yeah, it's been pretty hard, but we're getting into a lot more playing and stuff like that, so I think that's the funnest bit. So I think the fun just takes over, and then it's going really well.
Yeah, Jacko's been really great. I'd heard bits and pieces, but until you see the person and see what they're capable of, it's pretty impressive and pretty special to have a big guy come into the group that can run like he can, that can jump like he can. I guess the big positive from that is that we can get him into the ball work and he can work on his craft straight away. So yeah, Jacko's pretty impressive, just got to do a bit of work in the gym, but as a performance group we're pretty excited.
Better catch some waves this morning then.
Got the whole crew here. I didn't start surfing till I was probably in my second year of footy. So I was about 20 years old, kind of needed a escape away from football, so I thought surfing looked pretty easy and looked pretty cool, and started up and found out it wasn't easy at all. It's taken me a few years to get the hang of it. And then I went through hurting my feet, and that kind of stopped any extracurricular activities I'd planned on doing. Today was the first time I've surfed in over 2 years, which was pretty exciting for me because it was something that I did enjoy doing, and does help me get away from football and find the balance. So to be able to get out there again this morning with a couple of boys was good fun. Yeah, when you're out there, you're not really thinking anything about football or life. You're kind of just in the present. So that's why I enjoy surfing, because you're really just focused on being out in the water and focusing on the now rather than what happened yesterday, what you've got coming up. It's a good camp because we train really hard and the conditions are really tough, but then there's awesome facilities to come down to the beach, to come up here, build deeper relationships with your teammates and coaches. I think's equally as important as training hard up here.
After a day spent away from the track, the players gather to hear from Simon Goodwin, with a big surprise coming for a soon-to-be Demon.
So, guys and girls, I thought it was really important that we got everyone here tonight. Firstly, because it was a great chance to reinforce why we're here. We've spoken a lot about team first, and obviously our togetherness piece, we're obviously going to have a session with Salt. But when we speak about togetherness and we speak about connection, we speak about winning on all levels as people. And we've got a guy that has been winning in life, in turning things around. And he's done everything that we've asked him to do. And for that reason, we're going to offer him a contract. Harley Bennell. So Harles, we know it's been a journey. You're on a really good one. We're not concerned about the calf. We're going to work really hard with our staff to make sure we get that right. But you're winning in so many other ways, and we want you to be a part of this footy club long term. So you're going to be part of us, mate. So all the best.
This time last year, Stephen May was sitting in the stands. The key defender tore his hamstring on the first day of the camp, just 3 months after being traded to the club.
Myself and Tom Lynch left our clubs as the captain. He wins a flag and we finished second last, and I don't even get out in the park, so couldn't have went any worse, I don't think. I had a beer on a Sunday and I was on the front page of the paper or the back page of the paper. And I think when you're losing, everything's under like a really big magnifying glass, but I've certainly learned from that. There were some positives, but as a whole I'm a really harsh critic, and I wanted to play a role in helping this team progress further than they did, and unfortunately we didn't, and I blame myself a bit for that. Obviously one player doesn't change the whole result of the season, but I'd rather be out there losing with the boys than just sitting in the stands. Yep. Let's go! Let's go! It was a little bit of nerves yesterday, running out there in that same deck where I did my hammy. I just feel like I'm a lot more prepared and conditioned this year than last year. I've had to do a few extra sessions just with managing my injuries from last year, but I'm about 4 and a bit kilos lighter than last year, so that sort of sets me up going into the season.
Oh man, it's just strong. Jeez. Yeah, you're a big dog. So you're going green, orange, and back to red, yeah? Smooth. That's smooth. Great, bro. Is that what you like it, T-Mac? Celebrate your goals.
Yeah. You too.
We'll celebrate them with you.
On field, I'm the same as when I was the captain at the Suns. Just can't control it. It's just a bit of white line fever. You run across and perfectionist. Get angry all the time when we do concede a point or a goal. So, but I think that's what helps me be a good teammate in a way and a good player is that I never want to lose and I don't want my teammates to lose. So I was trying to hold everyone accountable, including myself.
First week back, I reckon we just put it to the playing group,
Yep.
see what they say, but I think we've got to have an expectation that leadership's not just for the leaders. Get them to vote for captain, vice captain, deputy, and we refine it to 3 guys, maybe 4, maybe 4.
Depending on their recommendations.
But, yeah, we need to know what the players think, who they want to lead the footy club.
Max Gawn, one of Melbourne's key leaders, gives his coaches, teammates and fans an almighty scare on day 4 of the camp. The ruckman went down with a knee injury early in the session, with initial fears that it could have been a season-ending blow.
When something like that happens to my knee, I've obviously had 8 knee scopes on my other leg, including 2 of them being ACLs, and you get a good feeling of what is what when your knee sort of buckles, and I ended up running off the ground, walked straight up into the rooms. I felt my medial, I knew it was my medial, but you never know if there's something else.
2, 1, yep!
You can't make things about you at that moment, even though there's potentially a 12-month injury, and with me, my 3rd reco and overall knee health and all sorts of things will be going through in my head. But that didn't happen, and it was just a tiny little sigh of relief.
Get him, Sparks!
4 Sparks. Oh! Oh, the MRI place is a horrible place. I've had a lot of scans, obviously, and when there's potential of it being bad, staring up at that roof, which they try and make it a little bit colourful, they put a bit of a galaxy and a stars up there, and it's a horrible 25 minutes. Sure enough, before I even went in for my scan, there was an article saying I'd suffered a pretty big knee injury, and as I was in the MRI, I'd worked out that I've got missed calls from mum, dad and my wife, so I forgot to tell. But yeah, it shows how much everyone cares and how much footy means to the extended family and all supporters and friends, and it was nice to get a bit of love.
It's been a gruelling 7 days on the Sunshine Coast, but the D's have still been able to enjoy all that the trip has had to offer. Embracing the hard work and heat, they now head back to Melbourne with a refreshed mindset ahead of their next training block.
Everything we saw in the rookie door came out in spades. The understanding, the clarity, the ability to execute was brilliant. All crossing staff and the voice we talked about was communication out there. Awesome was. And what we saw was a group that was tough, we were hard, and we defended our asses off. Right, and that's the start of the perception from last week into this week. Right, it's just the one club mentality.
Following Melbourne's second hit out of 2020, the players break into groups to begin their Monday review, analysing all aspects of the practice match against North Melbourne.
Did you enjoy it? Yeah, look, guys look like having enormous fun. You know what the possession tally was? North Melbourne 290, Melbourne 230. And you were having fun. What am I getting at?
Don't touch the narrative.
Don't touch the narrative. Just got to perform your role. You guys are having a hoot at three-quarter time. 3 goals forward and no score in the third quarter. You come in, hitting each other. Maybe probably about 2 touches each. It was brilliant, boys. It was actually really pleasant to see, because I reckon that's when you start seeing a team evolve, is that they're comfortable just playing their role. And it was just awesome. Before you sit down, whether you played or didn't play, on the back of what Goody said about why you enjoyed the game, I want you to go and write down 1, 2, 3 team first actions that you loved from one of the guys that were out there. All right, can be anything. Can be any team first action you saw.
After I came to the midfield in the second half, so I tried to split Jim and Sparrow up, but the two of them together, the way they communicated, and that was something I really sort of noticed once I got in there and had a bit more to do with them, so that was impressive.
It's good recognition for you two young boys. I know you've been doing a lot right over the summer, but you're from Gussish, you know, like those. Players you were watching, what did you like?
Yeah, it's still all, I said all 3 mids in there, guys looking after each other. There was a bit of a scrap in the third.
Start of the third.
One of them, they all came in and helped each other out. I loved it.
I think it's really important you guys recognise each other. Ultimately, you're out there together. So to stop and think about it and recognise it amongst each other is vitally important.
I'm just going to show these 2 or 3 clips. And boys, this is all reinforcement, all right? This is stuff, and we've shown this 2 or 3 weeks in a row. It's not a bad thing, because we keep going from strength to strength with it. You need to understand how it's helping the team, and a lot of these actions, all right, it's got nothing to do with touching the ball. We're well connected. It's brilliant. Are you really clear on that? What that looks like for us? So this is a behaviour. All right, so this has been a real positive over the summer, and we continue to keep reinforcing this stuff, but keep doing it, because we're getting really, really good results. Really, really good results. All right, well done, boys. Good stuff. Collins, I'll get you to stay behind. Just got some stuff I want to show you.
1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, boy.
I'm going to show you 2 or 3 clips here. All right, which tells me one thing that you're learning. All right. And the other thing is that how it's helping the team function, why it's really important. And this has been the really big learning for you. So where you are? Yep. Okay, so take a mark. So get up in line with the ball. Yep. So your challenge now is to try and get up in front of there. Yep. Time to go now, isn't it? Yep. Time to go fast? Yep. Big tick. Good boy. Next one. This has been a really big improvement, mate. Really big growth improvement for you. All right. So even though you don't touch the ball, is it helping us defend? That's what it looks like for you, mate. Okay, so keep doing it, son. Okay, so you've got a really clear understanding. I'm watching your game now, I'm watching your footy, and you have a really clear understanding, and this is making your role, you know, and your game look a whole lot better, and there's not many gaps at the moment, is there? Keep going. Thank you. All right, it's not very often, mate, when the coach gives you a pump up like that, you should smile, because it's a good sign, isn't it? Yeah. Right, good work.
While Kasai Pickett is still learning the ropes at AFL level, he has some great mentors to lean on around the club. None more so than uncle and teammate Neville Jetta.
What you see first is definitely not who he is. His personality is real bubbly, real cheeky. Yeah, he's definitely one who's, once you get to know, pretty confident young fella who's just enjoying life. Seeing sort of how he's evolving from the first time he walked through the club being pretty quiet, not saying a lot, to now he's dancing in the change rooms and dancing in the gym and just enjoying his time at the footy club and being around his teammates. Having Cozzy live with us probably 2 weeks before Christmas and then 2 weeks post-Christmas was great. He got along really well with Nalani and Kyrie. They loved having him there. It's almost like having a big brother in the house. He looked after them and played with them and just go out the back and just enjoy their company. So I think it worked really well to have him and sort of settle him in for the first few weeks at the footy club. Yes. Who's that? Yeah, can you put it in the bin, please? This is going to take a long time. Living with him, obviously, on the camp, it was interesting seeing his little habits that he has around the house and time that he wakes up. So I think on the vision, we had to leave at 6:30 and he woke up 6:25 trying to eat breakfast. So those little things, we're just trying to help him be able to create elite standards.
Righto, Cozzy's up here having breakfast. What do you got for us, Coz?
Wheat mix. 4 wheat mix.
4 wheat bix?
Yeah.
What are you putting in at the moment?
Salt.
Salt?
No.
You ready for big day?
Yeah, I'm ready. Always ready.
Always ready. Righto. First time coming up to Maroochydore?
Yeah, first time up in Maroochydore.
Yep.
Good weather up here.
Good weather?
Yeah.
What do you enjoy most about being up in Maroochydore?
I think the match sims, training here.
Match simulation?
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah. How you think you're playing your role at the moment?
I think I'm doing it pretty well, I guess. Coaches say I'm doing it pretty well, and but there's still a little I need to work on, but yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
To be able to see what he can bring to our footy club and our footy team is exciting, but we really want to make sure that the small things are done really well, and those small things will allow him to do the other stuff that everyone loves to see.
See ya.
With round one fast approaching, Simon Goodwin gathers the players to vote on the club's leadership structure for the season ahead.
We need 3 guys who can actually be the heads of the footy club and drive our footy club forward. And I want you to think about when you're voting that this is a leader that role models all that. Role models all that. Someone that's prepared to go and help others. Right? Someone that's going to inspire you in the games and that you want to get in behind. And someone that you know is going to be there when it's tough. They stand up in the moment. They communicate in a way that keeps us calm, keeps us organised, and keeps pushing our club forward. It's not a mate's vote. So be really clear on that. You'll vote, coaches will vote. We're done. We'll make a decision on the back of that.
Take one. Spread out if you like. Give a chance you to go.
A week after the votes were cast, the entire football department meets in the theaterette to learn who will lead the club in 2020.
Thanks for coming. Obviously, it's an exciting day when you get to roll out your leadership for season 220. Obviously, you guys voted last week, and that vote was great. We had 10 guys that got votes. So it shows you there's a real big collective that's starting to build within the footy club. In terms of what the leadership model will be, I've spoken to you that there's an expectation that you all lead in your own way. And to back that up, our leadership model is going to be really simple. We'll have a captain and a vice captain. That's it. So the expectation is that everyone plays their role in leadership. Right, so our captain for 220 will be Maxi Gone. Hopefully the day will be, about celebrating Max, and we want it to be that way. It's a great honour, Maxie, to skipper a footy club, and not one man will drive this footy club forward. It'll be a collective. As it is with coaching, as it is with management, as it is with the board, CEO, it's everyone building a strong footy club. For Vin, okay, he'll be disappointed. Captaining a footy club is a great honour. 35 of you boys valued him. 35. That's a big portion of the group, value his leadership. He wants to be the most effective leader for you. And nothing is going to change. He walked into the footy club with one thing, to make this club great. That's all he's ever wanted. All right? But what he's going to need from you to be the most effective leader that he wants to be, he's going to need your feedback. All right? But he is all in. He is right behind Max. He's right behind every single one of you. All right? So, Vin, for that, I thank you, mate. Well done. All right.
I'm not going to tell you I wanted it from day one. I always wanted to lead this club. I always wanted to be a leader. I'm a leader just through my personality and to get some votes from the boys. And I've got some votes the last couple of years, but to get a few more this year and then to put their faith in me, it is exciting. There's a lot of pre-season hype. Every team has pre-season hype. I'd love to be the next Melbourne captain who is able to hold the cup up, but there's a fair bit of water to go under the bridge to get there. It's a process, and that's the way I'll look at it. I'll look at it as much as this is a cliche, but it's not a cliche, it's truth. It's moment by moment. It's literally play by play. You cannot look ahead and you cannot look behind. You have to look at play by play, and hopefully I can get that in myself, and then I can get that into the broader group as well. I've got a really strong relationship with Jack, and we are a little bit different. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, then we do see eye to eye. We play differently, we're different type players. We go home and do different things, but when we come to wanting this club to be great, we're exactly similar. So I feel like that's the partnership that's going to work really well, and when he got voted in to be captain 2 years ago, he pointed me out straight away and said, Max, me and you are going to be the two that are going to take this club forward, and the overall goal is to win a flag, to build this group to play consistent finals, and that's what me and him will try and get the group doing.
Since the day the boys got back, it's been all about work, and we haven't shied away from that. We know a key characteristic of being a good team is being really hard working, and that's being about being prepared physically, but also mentally for what the game's going to demand from you. So yeah, it's been tough. Right across the football department, we've just come to work every day to get better and improve it. And I think we've had a really strong preparation with still plenty of work to do. Our coaches have really been strong on how we want the game to look. Our playing group has got an enormous amount of talent. They've got an enormous amount of will to be successful. They're enjoying their footy, and we can't wait for the season to start.